So the time is finally here, Medal of Honor Warfighter. But what's going on, guys, in the works? And yes, we are playing some Warfighter, and this is the combat mission game mode. And this is a game mode you guys have heard me talk a lot about. It's essentially a rush type game mode. It's very similar to Battlefield 3's Rush, but it does have some slight differences. Basically, what you have to do in Medal of Honor Warfighter is you have to take an objective and then defend it. You either have to plant the objective. It can be various things. Sometimes it'll be like a piece of weaponry you have to blow up, or like a lighthouse. I think one of the maps has like a very small lighthouse you have to blow up. A building, a bridge, anything like that. So it's actually kind of cool, and it was really the game mode that was looking forward to most. Now, does it live up to expectations? We'll talk a little bit about that. But you may have, if you follow me on Facebook, may have seen my little mini knee-jerk review of the game last night. And I want to do a more in-depth video on the game once I've spent more time with it, because I don't feel like it'd be fair to give an in-depth thought on the game until I really have a grip on the ins and outs of Medal of Honor Warfighter. Because I think I've played about 5 hours right now. So I don't think it'd be fair to give a review on it. That being said, one of the downsides to the combat mission mode is the maps. The maps are very, very linear. I mean, it does fit the game type, but in the same respect, it leads to a lot of choke points. It leads to a lot of spawn trapping, especially for the attackers. If you're familiar with the jungle map with like the mangrove trees back in the water, on that first objective, you can trap people there forever. The same is true for Sarajevo's stadium. When you play that on combat mission, you can trap them back in the actual stadium for so long that it's almost impossible for them to escape. So this game mode's a lot of fun. It's a lot more tactical than some of the other game modes in the game. But on the flip side, it can be very, very spawn trappy if you get a good team versus a bad team. So that's one of the downsides to it. But we are using the AK-103, which is an AK variant, obviously. And this isn't a weapon I've seen a lot of people use yet. And it's actually one of my favorites right now. I'm using it with the Cobra sight. And the Cobra sight just, it fits the AK weapons because it's made for them, and it looks pretty cool. So I do enjoy using this particular class with this weapon. Point Man has quickly become my favorite class, and I want to do an in-depth video on that eventually because this class is amazing. I'm surprised more people don't run it because your secondary, you get an 870 shotgun. And I have some pretty awesome 870 clips that I'm just dying to show you guys, but I got to put together a Point Man little mini Taj to do that video. But you see there, I'm calling in my airburst mortar back there in their spawn, and I'm gonna hit the jackpot there because you see I get 4 people, and that leads me up to either the little bird or the it's almost like a blackbird from Black Ops, if you're familiar with that particular game. It marks people on the maps with the triangles. I did a video in the beta showing that one off, and the little bird's more like a strafing run. A lot of times I don't really like the little bird. It's really hit or miss. I mean, if you can find a good concentration of people, you can get some good amount of kills with it. But for the most part, I've always found the UAV is the better way to go. But like I was saying, the Point Man has quickly become one of my favorites. I love the UAV options. I love the ability to be that guy who's giving my team reconnaissance. And it's really important. I don't see enough people running UAVs to start the game. So I wish more people would sit down and be like, man, maybe we should run Point Man. Maybe we shouldn't all run Assault. Because Point Man definitely gets the job done. It definitely makes it a lot easier on your team to figure out where concentrations of people are. Because some of these maps can get very campy. And that's one of the, like I said, one of the downsides to combat mission is the fact that it can get very, very clustered. It can basically turn into a standoff. And you notice our team is playing very meticulous. We're not rushing in. I'm not playing super aggressive. Because about the first hour or two of the game, I was really running around like an idiot, just trying to learn the maps, trying to get a feel for how the game played. And I quickly learned that playing aggressive really doesn't do it for you on some of these maps, especially on combat mission, because you run in there, you might run into 4 or 5 guys, and there's literally no chance that you're going to survive in a scenario like that. So you do want to play more tactically, and that's one of the positive aspects of Medal of Honor that I have discovered, is if you're playing with your team, it's a lot more teamwork oriented than a lot of games you might play out there. Now, I'm not going to go out on the limb and say it's better than insert blank game, but as far as teamwork goes, this game really pushes teamwork, especially if you're playing with a handful of fire teams like I'm playing right now with Sweat, Sergeant Merrill, and my buddy Maryland Maverick, who you guys probably never heard of, but he's one of our friends. We do a pretty good job of pushing this team back, do a pretty good job of kind of telling each other where you're dying, where they're coming from, and it makes the game a lot more tactical, especially on combat missions. So that's one of the the upsides to Medal of Honor. If you're a teamwork oriented guy, it's definitely got something for you. Now, on the flip side of the coin, there's another mode in here called Home Run mode, which I will show you guys some stuff from that too eventually. That mode is awesome. So, as far as game modes go, I think they did a pretty good job of introducing some new game modes, keeping a couple fan favorites in there, and doing a good job of giving us variety in the game mode department. That being said, I was a little bit disappointed with the combat mission game modes. It's not as good as the Medal of Honor 2010 version, because that version was just, there was something about it. It just felt fresh. It just felt different. This mode feels like it lacks a lot of character. It feels like it's a little bit more, I don't know, it seems a little bit more forced than the Medal of Honor 2010 version. So I am a little bit disappointed about that, as you see me finally get my Apache. But we're not really going to get much in this Apache, unfortunately, because it is glitchy, and James actually doesn't get teleported to it. But, I think I end up getting like 2 kills in it or something like that. So, not bad considering the game was ending and I didn't really get to use it to its fullest extent, but whatever. I'm not really a huge fan of the Apache to begin with. But combat mission, like I said, it's better in 2010. Not a huge fan of the variant that we have in Warfighter. That being said, it can be fun. So, I don't know. Mixed opinions on Warfighter as a whole. I'll do a more in-depth video once we get closer. I did go flawless in this particular game, and I led the game in points, so not too shabby. Actually, a pretty good game and a pretty good example of the point man class and the AK-103. But if you missed any of my last videos, now's the chance to catch up, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.